I have been waking up at 4:30 a.m. for the last 2 years, 5 days a week, consistently, and this is as somebody who used to wake up at probably 11 or 12 on a regular basis. So if I can become a morning person, then I promise you can become a morning person too. And today I'm going to tell you all of my favorite tips and tricks, as well as everything that I do in the morning that I actually think would be worth your time if you want to actually become a morning person. If you don't know me, my name is Haley, and I'm your realistic and balanced bestie, helping you build a stronger brain and body. So we've got quite a bit to cover today. I'm going to tell you the 5 tips and tricks that I have. Then I'm going to tell you 4 things that might be a little bit weird, but I want you to try it if you really struggle to wake up in the morning. And then lastly, I'm going to give you 3 things that I actually think you should definitely implement if you're looking to build any kind of morning routine. Even if this is a morning routine where you're not waking up till 8 or 9 a.m., these are still things that I think you should absolutely be doing first thing in the morning when you wake up. Before we get into it, please make sure that you are subscribed down below, because it really does help me out here, and it helps boost this content and push it out to people who might be interested, because it really helps me build a bigger community and helps push this content out to more people. And as always, make sure that you check the description down below for a bunch of free resources for your fitness and mindset journey. And now let's go ahead and get into the 5 tips that I have for actually waking up in the morning and forcing yourself out of bed. The first one being to slowly increase your wake up time. So if you're currently waking up at 10 a.m. and you want to wake up at 6 a.m., you're not just going to set your alarm tomorrow for 6 a.m. and expect you to actually wake up and be full of energy and actually commit to waking up at that time. You're going to start by maybe waking up at 9:30, then waking up at 9, and slowly getting that time a little bit earlier until you're actually to the point where you're waking up around 6, or maybe you're waking up around 7 a.m. and then you slowly go 6:45, then 6:35, then 6:25, and you're slowly getting it to the time that you actually want. But by slowly waking up a little bit earlier every single day, it's going to be less harsh, and it's going to shock your body a little bit less than if you were to just randomly be like, oh, I'm going to wake up tomorrow at 6 a.m. for the next 3 months and I'm going to commit to that 100%. Obviously, there are people who can do that and are successful with it, but for the normal person, I just think that's a little bit unrealistic, and I personally did it this way by slowly increasing my wake up time until I got to the 4:30 a.m. wake up time. My second biggest tip is to prepare as much as you possibly can the night before. So I set out my workout clothes every single day the night before. I also fill up my water bottle the night before so that my gym bag and everything is ready to go, so that I can literally wake up and just roll out of bed, put those clothes on, not have to do any thinking. Because if you're like me and you hated mornings, the last thing you want to do in the morning is be forced to make any sort of decision at all. I am pretty much nonverbal in the mornings. I do not speak. My boyfriend and I are getting ready. We are doing our own thing. I am not making any decisions because I am just have everything laid out before me. And I did get very, very lucky with this, but it's to the point where he makes my pre-workout drink in the morning. He sets out my granola bar for me to eat on the way to the gym. And as soon as I walk out of the bathroom, I'm in my workout clothes. I have everything set. I walk over, I grab everything, and we are just out the door, because the less decision making that you have to do, the better. And this is obviously going to be a little bit different for everybody, but having one thing that you go do right when you wake up in the morning is one of the best ways to actually make sure that you're sticking to waking up in the morning. So whether it's going to the gym, or whether it's just going on a walk, or walking your dog, or any other specific activity that you're waking up and going to do immediately when you wake up, the goal should be to be able to go to that activity without having to do any thought process at all. So even if you're just walking your dog in the morning, make sure that you have your shoes laid out, the outfit that you want to wear, and put some actual thought into it. Don't just be like, okay, I'm going to just throw on the first thing that I see in my closet. Pick that outfit out the night before. Be like, what do I want to wear tomorrow? What kind of vibe do I want to have? The more that you can actually think about this ahead of time, the more that you're going to feel kind of excited for it in the morning, because you're going to know that you actually already did all of the planning. You did all of the actual hard work, and all you have to do is just get your body to do the movement portion. And I know for me, before I was picking out my workout outfits the night before, I didn't really feel that great in my outfits at the gym that next day, because I was just kind of like, wow, I picked this out at 4 a.m. while I was still half asleep. Half the time I was wearing my sports bra inside out to the gym, because I just was not actually functioning at all when I picked out that outfit. And then my workout wasn't as good because I didn't really feel good in what I was wearing. And I feel like now that I'm picking out my outfits the night before, I can actually put some thought into it and be like, okay, tomorrow is back day. So maybe I want to do a backless sports bra, and then I want to run after my workout. So I need to make sure that I have shorts that I can actually run in, not shorts that are going to ride up and make me feel uncomfortable while I'm running. And it just gives me so much more confidence around actually going to the gym because I'm already prepared. I already have everything laid out. I don't have to do any thinking. It's just ready, it's good, and I can actually feel good when I get there. Tip number 3 is to have some kind of reward system. And this could be an accountability partner. So maybe if you're on the West Coast and you have a friend on the East Coast who you know is going to be awake at the time that you're trying to wake up, have that person be your accountability partner for the next month or two and be like, hey, I'm going to send you a selfie every single day at this time, and if I don't, be on my ass. Venmo request me $10 for every time that I don't send you a selfie on this time every single day. I know that sounds a little bit dramatic, but I promise you after a month or even just a week of doing that with somebody, you are going to be waking up on time and you're going to be like, oh, okay, I actually can do this. Now, there are a little bit less intense ways to do this. So for me, one of the ways that I do this is I have my phone completely locked. All of my apps are locked. I cannot get on them. I can't turn off the lock. I can't just click never mind. I can't be like, oh, it's okay, I'm just gonna turn this little thing off for a little bit. No, the apps are locked 100%. I use the app Screen Zen to do it because that's the only one that I found that actually fully locks you out of the app, and it's free, so that's a win. But I have it fully locked until I actually get to the gym. So the entire time that I'm up getting ready for the gym, I cannot be on my phone. I physically can't scroll Instagram. I can't go on TikTok. It's not possible because it doesn't unlock until 5 a.m., which is when I get to the gym. So my little reward is that after I finish my workout, if I'm just walking on the treadmill or if I have maybe a little bit of time while I'm waiting for a machine or something like that, then I can scroll on Instagram while I'm just sitting there and have some time to be on my phone. Your reward system could also be something like, oh, if I wake up before this time for the next 5 days, I'll buy myself this. Or maybe it's a jar that you have to put money in every single time that you don't wake up. Obviously, that's going to take a little bit more personal discipline than having an accountability partner. But again, you really just have to figure out what actually works for you because this is going to be completely different for everybody. Tip number 4 was one of the biggest ways that I actually got myself to feel awake in the mornings when I first started waking up at 4 a.m. And it's just to shock yourself in some way. So this could be maybe splashing really cold water on your face. It could even be chugging ice cold water. I used an ice roller for a while and I absolutely loved it. Plus it just kind of like makes your face feel really snatched early in the morning. Right now what I'm doing is just spraying hypochlorous acid on my face every single morning because it kind of gives me the same effect, but it's a little bit less intense and a little bit less harsh. And I really like that because I don't have to go all the way to the kitchen to get the ice roller out of the fridge. I can literally just walk into the bathroom, spray my face, and then I feel honestly so refreshed. It's kind of shocking because I didn't think that something like that would actually make that big of a difference, but I really think it does. And for the time that I was doing the ice roller, oh my god, I loved it. It was incredible. And before I had that, I literally just would take an ice cube and I would wrap it like in a little towel so that it didn't melt everywhere, and I would just run it across my face, and it was so good. The more I think about it, the more I'm sitting here like, I need to start using that ice roller again. So I might restart that and I'll keep you updated on how it goes. And my last and probably my favorite tip for getting yourself to start waking up in the morning is to get your brain active immediately. When I first started waking up at 4:30 a.m., I did Duolingo instantly. It's the only app that I actually allowed myself to be on in the mornings, and because it's something that actually makes you have to use your brain, it wakes you up so much better than if you were to try to just scroll on Instagram or even just laying there and trying to convince yourself in your brain to wake up. Doing something that's actually making you use your brain power is going to instantly make you feel more awake, and it's just kind of fun. I hit like a 188-day streak on Duolingo when I was doing this, and then I lost it and I got really sad and I never picked it back up. But it was really fun. And before that, I was doing Sudoku in the morning because it's just kind of a fun little thing, and I got kind of good at it and then I got bored. But also playing something like Tetris first thing in the morning could also be a really good option. It's really just up to whatever you want to do, but do not pick a game that's going to suck you in for the entire day. So don't do something like Candy Crush or something that's going to have constant levels that you're beating and getting to the next level, because then you're just going to be on your phone for the next hour. So that's why I really liked Duolingo, because once I finished a lesson, it was kind of like, okay, I did this, I'm done. So it's fine. I don't really feel the need to go on to the next thing instantly, like a game that's super addictive. But if you really want to be completely off your phone in the morning, which honestly is probably the best option, I would recommend doing something like writing down in a journal first thing when you wake up. You can either write about your dreams, or you could do a quick gratitude journal, or just journaling in general, or making some kind of to-do list first thing in the morning. This is another one of those things that's going to depend on you as an individual person, because I know for some people, if they were to try to make a to-do list first thing in the morning, they would actually just stress themselves out more than anything, because they would be like, oh my god, I have so much to do, like I need to start doing this immediately. So if that's you, I probably wouldn't recommend doing a to-do list first thing in the morning, because we don't want to stress ourselves out. The thing that we want to do is just kind of wake ourselves up in a non-stressful, overwhelming way. But that does bring me to the 4 things that are a little bit weird, but I would suggest trying at least one of these if you really, really struggle to wake up in the mornings. If you're one of those people who are like, I've tried, I physically can't do it. It's not possible. I will never be able to wake up in the morning. I'm not a morning person. If that's you, then these are the 4 things that I would say you might want to at least pick one and try them out. The first one is going to be either using some kind of sunrise lamp, or smart bulbs, or smart plugs. I personally do smart plugs. I have them hooked up to different lamps around my house. And when I lived alone, I lived in a studio, so I had this lamp that was kind of in the kitchen living room area. It was all one big rectangle, but it was more on the opposite side of the room from where my bed was. So I would have that lamp turn on first, and that was about 15 minutes before I actually woke up. And then right when my actual alarm would go off, I would have the lamp that was closest to my bed turn on as well. So then I'm waking up pretty much to just a fully lit room, which is going to make me a little bit less likely to go back to sleep, because I did have a lot of light. And I find this is really helpful, because when you're waking up before the sun actually rises, you don't get that benefit of having light come in through your curtains. Or I know some people love to sleep with their blinds open so that light will come in and wake them up naturally, but when you're waking up super early, you don't have that luxury. So faking it with something like this is really, really helpful in my opinion. And I know obviously sunrise lamps are going to give you kind of the same benefit, but a lot of them are pretty expensive. So I would recommend starting with either a smart bulb or a smart plug first, just because it kind of lets you figure out if it's something that's actually going to work for you or not. I think with some of these smart bulbs, they give you an option to kind of adjust the dimness of the light. So you might start it at a little bit dimmer and then increase it until it's fully lit right around the time that you're waking up. That would be a really good option. Or if you want to splurge and just say fuck it and get a sunrise lamp, I honestly think they are 100% worth the investment. I am very, very highly considering getting one, because especially as we go into the winter season and I know the sun is not going to be up anywhere close to when I'm actually waking up, I am very heavily considering it, just for the pure fact of I like to have light. I like to have some kind of light in the room when I'm waking up. The second thing that you could try is chugging water before bed, and this is gonna depend on the person. I really like doing this because I don't really find myself having to go pee that much throughout the night. My body is really good at holding it till the morning, but I found that when I chug water right before I go to bed, like immediately, less than 5 to 10 minutes before I am actually going to be going to sleep, that is when I find that it's almost timed perfectly to when I have to wake up, where as soon as the alarm goes off, as soon as I'm waking up in the morning, my body is like, oh, I have to pee, so I have to get up right now. But I have told people to do this and they've been like, Haley, I literally woke up at like 2 a.m. to go pee because I couldn't hold it anymore. So don't chug an insane amount of water, but definitely chug a little bit, like maybe 8 ounces of water, 8 to 16 ounces, okay? I don't know, I'm not a scientist. But again, it works for me, and I honestly think it's so great because the fact that I have to get up to pee is literally the main reason that I get up a lot of time. The third thing to try is there are alarm clocks that will make you have to do something before they actually turn off. I know that the app Alarmy is really good for this. I've never personally tried it, but I have seen a lot of people on TikTok just raving about this, because I think from what I've gathered, one of the options is to set it up so that you have to scan a barcode in order for the alarm to turn off. So you might set it to be a barcode by your coffee maker, or maybe set it to be a barcode in your bathroom so that you have to get up and go into that room, take a picture of the barcode, and then the alarm will turn off. That is incredible, genius. Whoever came up with that, kisses on the forehead, because wow, incredible. I also know there are probably hundreds of alarm clocks on Amazon that do different things. I've seen one that rolls away as soon as it turns on, and it's literally going to jump off of your nightstand and roll around, and you have to find it and pick it up to turn it off, which I do think some people need. I think some people need that boost to be like, okay, I need to actually get up and get out of this bed in order to wake up right now. And what better way to do it than to have a literal obnoxious rolling demon floating around your room? And the fourth and probably most tame thing that you could try is to put your phone across the room, but put it underneath the things that you need immediately when you wake up in the morning. So if you're going to first thing as soon as you wake up, take your dog on a walk, put your phone across the room, put it underneath your dog's leash so that you have to pick up this leash to turn off your phone alarm. And then once you have that thing in your hand, do not put it down. You're going to go immediately to do whatever thing it is. So if you're putting your phone underneath your gym clothes, then you have to pick up your gym clothes in order to turn off that alarm. And then as soon as you have your gym clothes in your hand, you have to go put them on. You're not putting them back down and then go sitting down. You're going to keep them in your hand. You can drop your phone if you want to, but you're keeping the clothes in your hand because you're going to go put those on immediately so that you can actually start your day. Now, the caveat being that I know some people cannot hear their alarms unless it's directly next to them. So again, kind of play around with this and maybe have a backup option if necessary, but it could be nice to have an alarm directly next to you that goes off in the morning and wakes you up maybe 5 minutes before your phone alarm is going to go off. So that way you're more likely to hear the phone alarm on the other side of the room, and then you actually have to get up to turn it off so that it's just not obnoxiously blaring across the room, you know? And now for the 3 things that I actually think are non-negotiables and every single person should be doing in their morning routine. These are the things that have actually stuck with me. And obviously across the last 2 years, I've tried a lot of different things. I went through a phase where I was stretching every single morning first thing before I even went to the gym. I went through a phase where I was doing my gratitude journal before I went to the gym. I've played around so much with the order of the things that I do, and I find that really picking one main thing to do immediately when you first wake up is the biggest key. And for me, that's obviously going to the gym, that's doing some kind of movement, because I find that if I don't do that first thing in the morning, then it kind of gets pushed to the side, and then I'm more likely to either have to have a short workout or honestly skip the workout completely because I took too long doing other things. So for me, that is the one thing that has to happen instantly. I have to get up and I have to just get that done because otherwise it's not going to happen. So I would recommend finding what your one main thing is and then doing these other 3 things kind of around it, making sure that it gets done, because these are the things that I find no matter what I absolutely have to do. Otherwise my morning just isn't really going to hit the way that I want it to hit. First thing is 10 minutes of non-negotiable, completely alone you time. And this means no phone, no electronics. You are just sitting there doing whatever you want to do. You can do a meditation, you can do some kind of journaling, you could even just take the time that you're getting ready and actually really focus on what you're doing and focus on just being in your own presence and being alone and just kind of doing a body scan, essentially seeing how you're feeling, seeing what you are thinking about, just kind of releasing anything that's coming to you. This time is so important because if you don't take this time for yourself first thing in the morning, it's going to get lost in your day and it's not going to happen, because the entire rest of your day for almost all of us is spent focusing on other people. It's spent catering to other people's needs or doing a job for somebody else or taking in calls or taking in questions, just doing things that are for other people. And you really need to make sure that you have a foundation of time spent on just you before you go into doing things for other people, because otherwise you're going to get so overwhelmed and you're just going to get lost in what other people need from you instead of focusing on what you need yourself and what things you can focus on giving to yourself and what areas you might need to improve on or what things you need to focus on. This time is just so vital, and whether you're doing a gratitude journal and you're just taking that time to be like, oh, I'm so thankful for all of these things, or I'm thankful for the things that have yet to come, but they're going to be coming, or even just doing affirmations, whatever it is, taking this time in whatever capacity works for you is such a huge important part of your day. And I've found that the times that I've spent not doing this, or the times that I played around and was like, oh, maybe I'll just stop doing that and then I'll focus on other things, those are the times in my life where I feel the most overwhelmed. I get super anxious all the time. I find myself just kind of feeling like everything is chaotic and just too much for me. And then when I start doing this again, I'm like, oh, that's what was not clicking. So if you don't currently have any kind of time in your day for yourself, I highly recommend taking just 10 minutes in the morning to pencil in something for yourself. Some kind of you time, some kind of time where you are just focused on you. The second non-negotiable is chugging water. I try to finish an entire one of my, I just almost smacked myself in the face. I try to finish at least one of these by around 7 a.m. It's pretty easy because I do drink this while I'm working out in the morning, so obviously that makes it a little bit easier. But even on the days that I am not working out, I try to chug this entire thing within 2 hours of waking up, because I find that it just kind of gets things moving, and it really does help you wake up. I remember reading one time that if you drink water first thing in the morning, it's going to wake you up more than drinking coffee does, and I didn't really believe it, but I'm not a huge caffeine girly. I do matcha, if anything, but I do think that drinking water in the morning actually does help wake me up, and I think maybe that's why I haven't really been a caffeine girly in the last year, because it's kind of just naturally waking me up a little bit. The third non-negotiable is some kind of movement first thing in the morning. Obviously for me, I go to the gym every single day and I do some kind of weightlifting, but even if you just go on a walk first thing in the morning, or you just go in your living room and you stretch a little bit, or you do some kind of home workout, maybe a home Pilates class, or if you even wake up and you just do a dance class off of YouTube first thing in the morning, as long as you are doing some kind of movement around the time that you wake up, you are going to notice such a difference in your energy levels. You're going to notice such a difference in your mood, and you're going to notice that you sleep a little bit better at night because you got up and you started moving when you first woke up. This is kind of just tricking your body into using all of your energy levels and starting to burn some calories right away, even if you're just doing something really small or some kind of stretching. So even if you go to the gym after work, I would recommend waking up and just doing some light stretching, or just do some kind of movement around your house, even if you're just kind of pacing around. Getting that blood flowing and getting those energy levels going is so important when you first wake up, and you're going to notice such a difference in how your body starts to adjust to this new habit. And it's going to be so much easier for you to wake up in the morning because your body is anticipating getting up and moving right as soon as you wake up in the morning. Overall, I know waking up in the morning is not necessarily the most fun thing that you can do, but I do genuinely think that it is one of the best things that you could ever do for yourself, and it will give you time to actually focus on yourself and focus on the things that are going to get you further in the long run. If you plan on doing any of the tips from this video, please go ahead and give this video a like so that I know you're actually going to try something, and comment down below once you actually try it out and let me know how it went. If you want to dive a little bit deeper into the realm of sleep and recovery and how to improve your sleep in general, I actually have an entire episode on this topic, so I would recommend watching that one so that you can make sure that you're actually getting the best sleep possible, because that's going to make it a little bit easier for you to wake up in the morning. But that is all that I've got for you today, so until next time, be kind to your mind, to your body, and to others, and happy healing.